Welcome to this episode of the Smart Leaders Sell podcast. I'm Jessica Lorimer, sales coach and leadership expert, and I am really excited to dig down into today's episode. So today we're going to talk about ghosting. Da, da, da. What is ghosting, and is it really as friendly as Casper makes out? Yes, that was a very 90s way to start the show, but I really did used to like that program. When they made it into a film, I kind of felt like they'd taken the franchise too far. I much preferred it as a really dodgy, pixelated cartoon. I just thought it gave it extra character. But hey ho. Recently, somebody in my community asked me about this, and they asked me specifically what they could do to save more sales. And when I questioned this, they said to me that they were having really successful discovery calls, that they were running them according to the structure that I set out, and so they're getting really high close rates. And if you want to know how to do that, please go and check out the episode, Never Hear Another No on a Sales Call. It's the very first episode I ever recorded for the podcast, and it will walk you through the structure. So we're running the sales call successfully, they're getting yeses, and then people were just ghosting them. Have you ever had that? Have you ever had it and you know you're really excited to work with this client, and you talk to them on the phone and they're like, yeah, I'm going to pay you as soon as we get off the call, and then you just never hear from them again. And it's really awkward because you follow up and you're like, hey, you know that thing you wanted to buy? It's still here. Please buy it. So if you've ever felt uncomfortable about being ghosted and you're not really sure why it happens or what you can do to change it, then that is what we're going to be covering in the 10 minutes that we have together today. Exciting, exciting stuff. So what is ghosting, first of all? Well, honestly, ghosting is just when somebody disappears on you and, you can't figure it out. You've done nothing wrong, but for whatever reason, they were super, super happy about working with you, and then suddenly nothing. And they avoid your emails more than Theresa May is avoiding conversations about what is going to happen politically with the UK right now. Was that a bad moment to have a political joke? Yeah, I feel like it might be, but I'm starting to stress about the whole B word right now. I mean, March 2019, it's a worry for me. So basically ghosting, they just disappear on you. You don't know why. It happens usually for a couple of really simple reasons. One, it happens because people go away and then they start thinking about things. So humans naturally have this tendency to avoid danger. And our brains don't actually, they don't comprehend any difference between the danger of potentially being pushed out of your comfort zone to the danger of being chased by dinosaurs. There's literally no difference in the way that your brain reacts to either of those things. So even if you are the most sensible, logical person in the world, you can still get stressed over decision making. And we tend to go away and try and make decisions that are going to help us be more comfortable. And a lot of the time when it comes to investments make us feel uncomfortable. So when we walk away from that call, when we walk away from somebody reassuring us and saying it's going to be great and you're going to get great results, we go back into that period of feeling uncomfortable again, and we have to go and make that decision again for ourselves. We have to reiterate all those good points to ourselves, and that can be really, really challenging. And so that's why people ghost, because they don't want to come back and say, actually, I have more questions. They don't want to come back and say no, because they think it will make them look like they're not a decision maker or look like they're flaky. And so it's just easier to not make a decision at all and to just ignore you like it never happened. So when somebody is ghosting you, it can happen for that reason, for the fact that they need more reassurance, that they've gone away, that they've started overthinking things in their head, or, and this is a much rarer case, or it could be that they just said yes on the call to make it stop. And I don't know whether you've ever done this, whether you've ever been in a shop, whether you've ever had a particularly bad sales experience where you're literally just like, yes, just give me the thing. Just give me the charity mug. I will put all of my money in it, because otherwise I know you're going to keep me here for 5 hours talking and making me feel really bad about the fact that I wasn't going to do it first off. Or you're having this conversation with the salesperson, you just know they are not going to let you leave the store. So you just go, yeah, fine, cool. I will buy that saucepan that I do not need, that will not go in my kitchen. But I just want you to stop. In the rare event that this happens, customers will ghost. And they'll say yes on the call, they will be acting like they're enthusiastic, and then they will ghost you because they don't feel like they were making the right decision. And so ghosting can also occur because of that, right? But if you're a salesperson, you're selling with integrity, you're genuinely doing your job to help the person make the best decision for them and not trying to force them into something just because you want them to buy it, then it's more likely to be the first reason, okay? The fact that they need extra reassurance, they've gone away, they've talked themselves out of it, and now they're a bit stuck and they don't know how to deal with it. So what can we do to stop people ghosting us in the first place? Because as we all know, prevention is better than cure, right? At least this is what doctors keep telling me. So what we can do better in the first place is actually preempt ghosting. And one of the easiest ways to do that is to take payment on the call. Okay, so if you're somebody who typically makes your clients go away and then you send them a proposal or you send them a link after the call and expect them to do it then, stop that. Because you're increasing your risks of being ghosted. You're also increasing the likelihood that you're going to get no's. And there's a reason for this, because again, once people go away and they're on their own, they start to overthink things, they start to put problems in, and they don't have you there to ask for any reassurance or ask any questions. So start taking some kind of payment on the call, whether that's a non-refundable deposit, whether it's getting somebody to pay their first payment in an installment plan, whatever that looks like for you. Make sure that they're making that financial commitment on the call so that they're not going to be ghosting you later on. All right. And so you're opening that commitment with them and you're giving them that channel almost. If they do have any questions, if they do have any queries, they can come back and ask you openly and honestly. Okay. The second thing that you can do to preempt it is that once you've taken that payment on the call, have a really good onboarding process that reassures them that they've made the right decision. This sounds like so simple, but honestly, one of the biggest reasons that people get refunds in their business is because they don't have a good onboarding process. So one of the things that we did probably in the summer last year was change the onboarding process that people got when they joined Botties, when they joined my private membership community. And the reason that we did it because we found that a lot of new members were getting a bit confused about what they should be doing or the best resources for them to access, and they weren't really sure how to use everything. And so they weren't getting the best immediate experience because they were having to wait in the community for a month to figure things out. And, sometimes you weren't brave enough to ask questions about it straight away. So we completely revamped that onboarding process. And what happened was that every time somebody new signed up, they got sent into a little private, yay, welcome to the Dottie sequence that taught them everything that they needed to know and explained what was going to happen next. Right from you're going to go into the membership portal, here are your logins, you're going to be introduced to the community on a Wednesday, there's going to be a really cool thread where everyone says hi to you, it can feel overwhelming, don't worry, right through to here's how you join the Facebook group, here is how you go and access the quiz to pick your first roadmap, etc., etc. But the most important thing in that whole onboarding process is the email that says, yay, you've joined and you've made an awesome decision to be here. Okay. And that email is something that whatever product that you buy from me, whatever service you purchase from me, you will always get a yay, I'm genuinely really excited to have you here email. And I'm really excited to see your results. One, because I am, and two, because it makes people feel good. Okay, so if you have a good onboarding process, you're decreasing your refund risk and you're making sure that they have that really positive experience first off and they feel like they've made the right decision, they're confident in that decision, they're less likely to think about backing out, they're less likely to question it, they just want to go ahead and get the results that they're looking for. Now, if you actually are ghosted, so if it happens to you, if you do everything right, but for whatever reason you need to send out a payment link after the call and you just don't hear back from them, you get to send 3 emails, okay? And I always limit it to 3 because it's just a lot easier to keep track of. And what it does is it ensures that you're always closing down the process, that you're not waiting on anything unnecessarily. So the first email that you send somebody, if you are ghosted, if you haven't heard from them or if they haven't paid their invoice by the time that you agreed on the call, you send them a really friendly email. Hey, just reminding you that we had our conversation on Tuesday. We agreed that your first payment would be made by this date so that we could get your first call booked in or your first session or get you started and enrolled into the course before the cutoff point. Just want to make sure that you've got everything you need. So here's that link again. Let me know if you're experiencing any problems. And if you have any questions or there's anything else that you want to ask, hit reply and I'm happy to help. Super friendly, super casual, gives them everything they need, and just is a gentle reminder for those people who, like me, get tons and tons of stuff into their inbox and need it floating up to the top every so often. The second email that you're going to send is a little bit more formal. Hey, I haven't heard from you. I was expecting to start working with you on this date, but I haven't received your signed contract yet, or I haven't received your first payment installment yet. I'm really excited to work with you and I'm really looking forward to seeing your results. But if that payment isn't made or if that contract isn't signed by date, then I would have to remove your spot and give it to somebody else. Totally understand if you've been busy. Just let me know where you are. And if you have any questions, if there's anything you need to talk to me about, let me know by X date. Okay, so it's a little bit more formal. It's still friendly. It still shows that you want to work with them, but it gives them some clear boundaries around when they need to let you know, when they need to make their payment by, what your expectations are of them, and how they can move forward. And then the third and final email is the one that nobody really wants to send, but actually is the biggest relief if you've been ghosted. And it's the one that lets them know you're being removed from the process. And again, it doesn't have to be rude. It doesn't have to be awkward. You just simply write, hey, I was really looking forward to working with you. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, you haven't been able to sign your contract or make your payment on time. So unfortunately, I'm going to be removing you from the process this time and giving your spot to somebody else. If you want to work together in the future, then I'd be more than happy to discuss that with you on a separate 15-minute decision-making call to see where you are and what you need and make sure that you're ready to go. Best wishes for the future. And that keeps it cool, calm, casual, and just lets them know that you appreciate, for whatever reason they haven't been able to make the decision, that you are moving forward, you're taking somebody else into your process, and also reminds them that they can work with you in future, but they would need to adhere to the process and they'd need to show a different level of commitment. Okay, so if you usually offer a 30-minute discovery call, you're saying, I'd offer you a 15-minute decision-making call to talk about where you are and what you need from me and help you make the right choice. Okay, and then the final thing that I'd say on ghosting is, if you don't want to get ghosted, don't be a ghoster. Okay, so if you know, and it sounds really counterintuitive, well, not counterintuitive, but it sounds a little bit woo, right? If you know that you are somebody who's great at getting on discovery calls and being like, yeah, that sounds awesome, and then not doing anything, or you're great at, going to somebody who's got an offer out and saying, oh my God, I'd love to do that. And then when they send you an email about it, you mysteriously disappear for weeks. That's what you're going to get back, because how you show up is how other people are going to mirror your behavior back to you. Okay? And this is something that is proven in sales time and time again. If you show up and you are unreliable, you're going to get unreliable clients. If you show up and you ghost to other people in their businesses, you're going to get ghosted. If you show up and you sell consistently and with integrity, you're going to get clients who do the same. It really is that simple. So if you don't want to get ghosted, don't be a ghoster. Remember, it's totally okay to go back to somebody and say, hey, I've actually had a thought about this and I don't feel like it's the right fit for me. Or it's totally fine to go back to somebody and say, hey, actually I have other questions about this. Would it be okay if I ran them past you? Or even send them an email and just be like, look, I had some other questions. Here are the key bullet points. Let me know how we can get these results so that we can move forward. But just communicate, because the thing about ghosting, and the thing that makes it most uncomfortable, is that the decision isn't the problem. It's the lack of communication especially when people are reaching out directly. When you're having to reach out to somebody directly and be like, hey, I've seen you on Facebook 50 times in the last week, but you haven't responded to any of my emails. And I'm now, as a last resort, trying to message you on Facebook. It's awkward. It's uncomfortable. So if you have changed your mind, if you have other questions, that's totally fine. Just communicate with that person, be upfront about it. And then that way, what you're going to find is that you get clients who give you the same courtesy. Hopefully this episode has been helpful. I'm really, really excited to see you back on Friday, because on Friday we have somebody who is an extra special guest who I have really been wanting to have on the show for a while, and who has been in my orbit for about 3 years now. And I think it's going to be an awesome episode to share with you guys. So have a fantastic Wednesday. I will see you back on Friday. Enjoy your week.